You walk into the room. The lights are dim. The hum of notifications in your brain never stops. You open your laptop. 10 tabs already blinking. You feel that familiar pit in your stomach. This isn't growth. It's digital drowning. You know this feeling. The empty eyes staring back in the mirror at 3 a.m. That's burnout too. Wrong. You were told to repeat quotes. Stay motivated. Push harder. That's corporate gaslighting. But your mind screamed, stop. And it did. Because motivation died. Your focus collapsed. 8 seconds. That's now the average human attention span. Shorter than a goldfish. Enough. Imagine sweat dripping from your palm. The neon cram school sign flickering as your chest tightens under the weight of textbooks heavier than your ribs. The world tells you, you lack discipline. But what if the problem wasn't you? What if the problem was your brain? You trusted slogans. You believed in the mantra, just focus. You thought auto-help was the answer. But nothing changed. That's because you were working against the very circuitry of your mind. Here's a fact. When you pay attention to something specific, neurons in the visual cortex fire in synchrony. When you're distracted, the brain shifts to slower rhythms. Your prefrontal cortex, the command center for focus, was hijacked by noise, by habit, by endless scrolling. Most people open 10 tabs hoping to be productive, but all they get is digital fog. Ask yourself, what if you could train your brain instead of motivating it? What if you could hack your own attention, not by pep talks, but by neuroscience? The phrase mental performance isn't just a buzzword, it's a battlefield. 40% of Korean teens sleep less than 5 hours a night. Their brain's already broken before the day begins. You weren't born with bad focus. You adapted to a system built against it. They told you it was your fault, but they designed you to fail. The enemy isn't the task, it's the wiring. Manipulated by distraction, environment, noise, you're not alone. There are thousands of minds sinking into multitasking quicksand. But this isn't a death sentence. Because here's the turn. Focus isn't willpower. It's engineering. It's biology. It's rewiring your brain to direct the spotlight of attention, not let it flicker like a dying candle. And if you paused this video even once, that wasn't your fault. Your focus is under siege, and this is the counterattack. In this video, you'll learn real science tools. Cognitive hacks grounded in neuroplasticity, in attention control, in brain rhythms. Not motivational quotes, strategy, deep work. The way your brain actually functions. So say it in the comments, train the brain. Let them know you see through the noise. And now let's begin. We start with the first move, understanding the enemy, your distraction. Your prefrontal cortex under siege. Next minute, the flaws in auto-help advice. Then, the neuroscience of attention. Then, the step-by-step method to rewire it. Stay, because when you leave, you go back to slogans. But they won't fix your brain. This is the difference between pretending to focus and actually performing. They told you to meditate, to journal, to cold shower your way to greatness. But no one told you how your brain filters reality. Here's the truth. Your brain doesn't see everything. It deletes. It distorts. It generalizes. You think you're lazy? Maybe your filter is just broken. Neuroscience calls it attentional bias. Your mind clings to distractions because your reward system was trained to love novelty. That's not weakness. That's hijack. Dopamine driven. Habit looped. Reinforced by every ding, buzz, ping, scroll. Let's break it. First, your focus isn't infinite. It's fuel. And most people leak it. Every tab open, every light flicker, every alert tone. That's drain. Stanford shows that multitasking reduces IQ temporarily by up to 15 points. That's the same as pulling an all-nighter. Now, imagine trying to grind while scrolling TikTok between Pomodoro breaks, 10 apps, no clarity. They call it multitasking. We call it cognitive suicide. So if attention is few, how do you patch the leaks? Start here. Your brain isn't built for success. It's built for survival. Focus wasn't designed to chase goals. It was designed to spot threats, which means every notification, a tiger. That's why a buzz pulls your focus harder than your intention. This is engineered. Here's what happens. The locus coeruleus, deep in your brainstem, floods you with noradrenaline. That's the chemical that sharpens focus. But hit it too often, it numbs. You become overstimulated. Alert, but unfocused. Numb, but reactive. Your brain becomes a searchlight with no target. So we reset. Start with visual silence. One space, one task, no digital bleed. This is not productivity advice. This is neural hygiene. Now, train it like muscle, with resistance. Here's the first protocol. Disable all notifications. Not mute, disable, set one visual target, blank wall or blank page. Timer, 20 minutes. You will fail, that's the point. Every failure is synaptic feedback. You're teaching the brain to resist. This is rewiring. Box breathing is optional. But what matters more is the boundary. No tab switching, no background noise. You're training the spotlight. This is in hustle. This is architecture. And the blueprint is neuroplasticity. It's not hype. It's how the brain adapts. 2. Repetition. If you do this for 7 days, not perfectly, but consistently, your baseline focus changes, not because of effort, because of structure. People say they want clarity. But clarity is earned through silence, through resistance. Right now, your mind is probably drifting. And that's okay. That's not failure. That's conditioning. Ask yourself, what trained you to fragment your attention? It wasn't just Instagram. It was school. It was pressure. It was survival mode in a system that profited off your distraction. And now you're here, not escaping understanding. That makes you rare. If this hit you, you know what to comment. Train the brain, because now we go deeper. Next, the hidden network inside your head that sabotages your focus, even when you're alone in silence, and how to shut it down. You're not watching this video. You're watching yourself watch it. That's the default mode network. It activates when your mind wanders, replays memories, simulates futures. It pulls your focus inward, not always to reflect, often to ruminate. When you try to work but drift into thought spiral, that's not just distraction. That's neural architecture. Here's the twist. The DMN isn't your enemy, but it must be tamed. In fMRI scans, monks who train deep focus show reduced DMN activation, less inner noise, more presence. You don't need to become a monk, but you do need to shut the loop. Here's how. Every time you notice yourself drifting, don't fight it, label it. Planning, worrying, remembering. This act, this micro-label, shifts your brain from the DMN to the executive control network, the place where focus lives. You're not suppressing the mind, you're rerouting it. And over time, this becomes automatic. It's not effort, it's design. Most people never train this. They train guilt. They train speed, but not awareness. You just unlock the first mental lever. Now let's build a system. Your brain craves closure. That's why unfinished tasks loop in the background like a stuck song. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished equals unresolved equals mental drain. In a moment, I'll give you a sentence that clears cognitive space like a vacuum. Here's the move. Every night, before bed, don't just write your to-do list. Write your open loops. The tasks you're holding in fragments. Now write this. This will be handled tomorrow. That sentence signals safety to the prefrontal cortex. Not because it's done, but because it's acknowledged. You're reclaiming bandwidth. Now we go deeper. Deep focus isn't just about starting. It's about entering flow. And flow has a cycle. Struggle gives release, gives immersion, gives recovery. Most people binge on struggle. They skip release. They skip recovery. So they never enter immersion. Here's how to trigger it. Start with a problem that stretches you, not breaks you. After 25 minutes, stop, not to scroll. To disconnect cognitively. Walk, wash, touch a leaf. Then return. This creates dopamine anticipation. It prepares the mind for re-entry. You're not pushing. You're priming. This is called task bracketing. Athletes do it. Writers do it. High performers live by it. But the real shift is identity. You are not someone trying to focus. You are someone who trains focus. This is performance, not hacks, not hype. If this sentence hits you, say it in the comments. Again, because we're not done. Next, the 2-minute protocol that prepares your brain for deep work like a ritual, and the system inside your head that turns attention into armor. Close your eyes. Not metaphorically. Now, do it. Breathe in. 4 seconds. Hold. 4. Out. 6. You just took step 1. This is the neural priming protocol. Here's how it works. Before deep work, before anything important, you activate the salience network. It's the switchboard, the gatekeeper between noise and clarity. You're flipping the switch. The steps are simple. Eyes closed, box breathing, visualize one action, one task, one path. Open your eyes. Say out loud what you will now begin. By speaking it, you activate Broca's area, anchoring intention into language. It's no longer an idea, it's a command. This reorients your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that decides what deserves attention. Now it obeys you. 2 minutes, no apps, no gimmicks. Just direction, just war waged in silence. You're not chasing stillness, you're training command. Your brain consumes 34 gigabytes of data per day. That's enough to crash an old laptop. And we expect it to focus you raw, without prep? No, you're not winging this anymore. You're not just trying harder. You're equipping your mind like a soldier. You're building cognitive armor. And armor doesn't come from slogans. It comes from systems, from awareness, from wiring your reality, from rituals that prepare you for war, the kind fought in silence, in stillness, in choice. You don't need permission. You need pattern. You just built one. But we're not done, because if focus is the surface, then dopamine is the current. And in the next video, we'll go there. We'll expose how modern stimuli hijack your brain's reward loop, how platforms engineer addiction, and how to reset your pleasure baseline so your brain stops chasing dopamine and starts earning it. You think your focus was the battle? Wait until you see what dopamine has done. Subscribe. If this hit you, you know what to comment. Train the brain. And one more thing, check the description. I left you books there. Real ones, not slogans. Not hype, but tools that change how you think. Use them. Comment this. What hijacked your focus first? Was it your scream or your shame? Let me know, because that's where we start next time. And now, close this video, but not your eyes, because now you see, and that can be undone.